What's up guys, how's it going? It's Dan here from Cryo Noir. We are on week 9 of the devlog. Things are moving in forward motion movement. Long-time viewers will be well aware that there was not really a proper video gone up on Wednesday as I had promised, for which I apologise. I had intended on doing a video about the whole PewDiePie and the N-bomb gate, as it were. That's what I intended to do, and I recorded it on Wednesday. I recorded one version and I wasn't happy with how that came out. I recorded a second version, again wasn't happy with how that came out, and came to the conclusion there was no way I could really tackle that that subject without coming out like a complete arsehat. I didn't realise that until about 11:30 at night, by which time it was far too late to be doing another one. So, and I had nothing else really to talk about. I thought about talking about Microsoft and some of the issues they're having with Windows 10 kind of impeding gamers and things like that, but it didn't really seem like worth talking about, particularly what with that going on. So I just threw together a quick artwork video for the spaceship for Astro Blaster. I put that one up and thought I'll do like a kind of a Casey Neistat wandering to work, talking, vlogging kind of, hey, how's it going? I recorded that and the sound was terrible because it was windy. So yeah, so that was it. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a fail, but thankfully that's the only thing that's failed this week. Not entirely, all sorts have been going wrong, but that's beside the point. On with the devlog. We've been really busy this week, really busy, and Josh has sent over an audio file and some of the bits for the work that he's been doing on Duck Game. We have been focusing almost entirely on Duck Game. We haven't touched Astro Blaster at all this week. We've just been working on Duck Game. Problem I've got now as an editor, as a filmmaker, I now have my perspective and me talking about what I've had done this week, and him talking about the same week, and from a different point of view. So trying to edit those together so that it comes together more kind of like Quentin Tarantino-esque rather than Emily Shyamalan. I will try and get it all together so it looks good and it makes a coherent story for yourselves, you know, if it jumps around a little bit. Thanks a lot guys, take it easy. I shall see you later. Bye bye now. It doesn't quite look right, sorry. That's a long start with no real substance. I guess I'll just let Josh do the intro, and he's going to tell you where we were with Duck Game and what he started to do with Duck Game.
Hello again, it's Josh from Team Cryo Noir. The last time Taco Duck appeared in a video, it was in a pretty bare bones state. I had just thrown together a quick room with a building and some ledges that switch from solid to not, depending on the Y coordinate of the player. Some simple sidewalk with some slightly less simple slopes to move around on, and an ugly static background. Oh, and there was also some pretty nice lighting effects, including some Superfly neon signs complete with randomized flicker. I made a bunch of different building tiles just in case we ever decided to move more toward roguelike gameplay, but I think Dan and I are in agreement that this game is going to be laid out in carefully constructed levels to follow a pretty specific storyline. But I do think that I've convinced him that building heavily randomized roguelikes is not only easier than it seems, but also that it isn't impossible to achieve great storytelling in that format. Turning the crenellations on the building into solid switching platforms is kind of annoying because if you've played around with Game Maker for almost any amount of time, you'll understand the solidity of objects can get pretty obnoxious. Maybe that's just my lack of experience in coding talking, but still, it's just really annoying to work around sometimes. For example, if we were to drop in an enemy that moves around by detecting the solid object beneath it and that suddenly changed, it wouldn't know what to do. And that will result in various reactions depending on what else that particular enemy does. Maybe it freaks out and spins on the spot forever, maybe if it's affected by gravity, it falls down through the floor with you, who knows. Anyway, that's a problem for future Josh to worry about. This past couple weeks I've been adding and tweaking the cannon. I think this is really going to be one of those weapons that you'll remember the feel of. Up until this point there's only been a sword to play around with, which, while totally cool, doesn't make you go, yeah, the first time you fire it. Speaking of firing it, I also added collectible tacos and a taco collecting system that resembles the old collection system in Crash Bandicoot. It drops in a view when you've collected a taco and then goes away again once you've stopped collecting them for a few seconds. Both the collectible taco sprite and the taco count indicator sprite are made to look three-dimensional, and between you and me, I think I nailed it. Hashtag fuck modesty.
So when I came to Duck Game, it was looking pretty good. It had like the rain effects and some lighting and some other bits and stuff. And Josh said, right, could you do me some enemy AI and get that going? So just put a placeholder sprite in there, and then I'll work on some sprites a bit later on. He is definitely better at pixel art than I am, so I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm more than happy to back away on that one. I'll just try and get some logic in place. He's also a better coder than I am, so but that's beside the point. I decided to create a groovy little blue monster thing. I was going to just do a regular square or a rectangle and get that moving around and doing its thing, but I wanted to be able to see that it was definitely turning rather than just kind of going like that. I needed it to go across like that and then turn around and then go back, rather than just go like that and then stop and do that. So I wanted to make sure that that was actually happening, so I just threw together this crazy little sprite. And then he was like, could you possibly do me an enemy, a flying enemy, that then dive bombs? Same script as before, just do a placeholder sprite and get it in there. So this time I thought, I'd already set the precedent that, you know, my placeholder sprites were of interest. So I thought, well, what's, you know, a dive bombing boss, a dive bombing bad guy? You know, that's, you know, the theory of you minding your own business, wandering around, and then death from above comes crashing down on you. Oh, that's probably quite a scary kind of thing. I was like, yeah, so I should probably give it a half reasonably scary sort of sprite. So what's the scariest thing I can imagine? Nicolas Cage's face. So that's what we have. We now have Nicolas Cage doing a crazy dive bomb on you. I think I need to wind it in a little bit because it's a little on the aggressive side. He really does not like you. Now, it should be fairly straightforward to do. I'll just reduce the speed at which he comes down at you. I'll also put an alarm on there as well, so it will just come down. And I also need to get it so that it creates a proper thing, because as it is, it just sort of, it flies above you, and if you're below it, it sees you and it just goes down at a 45-degree angle at great speed, which is fine. I need to do maybe some work, an awful lot of work on that to get that looking a little bit better, but I quite like it. I quite like giant Nicolas Cage. So yeah.
This week, Dan started sending me updated versions of the game with a couple enemies. One that walks around and one that darts down at you from the sky, whose placeholder sprites made me laugh and cry, respectively. So, okay, definitely time to start working on some enemy sprites. I tried straight spriting the enemies a couple of times, and just ended up scrapping them because they weren't working out. So I found a sketchbook and got busy sketching out some ideas, and that's when the idea that I had in my head started to look decent. Pencil and paper, ladies and gents. Works every time. Once I had the sketch as a reference, the spriting was a breeze. I popped the new sprites into the walk-around enemy and bam. Job done. We'll have a bunch of dope looking enemies in no time.
Josh was doing his thing, and I'd already contributed to the game this week a little bit. I was happy with a lot of the code for the walking backwards and forwards, but I mean, that was fairly simple. And I felt like, you know, Nicolas Cage dive bombing probably wasn't as good as it could have been. It certainly needs a lot more work. And as with all partnerships, you want to kind of feel like you're making like a solid positive contribution, or certainly I do anyway. You know, I didn't want Josh to be under the impression that, you know, I wasn't taking this seriously by, you know, putting Nicolas Cage in his game, chasing around and stuff like that. So I thought, right, okay, so I need to really kind of ramp it up for the last couple of days, really try and throw something in there that's kind of as good as I can do. So I was like, well, the thing that I am best at doing out of all of this is the music, basically. I've got far more experience making and recording music and doing things like that than I have in coding. So I thought, well, I'll try and get some music sorted. We discussed kind of general themes and what sort of stuff we wanted for the game. So that was it, away I went. And this is what I came up with.
So here I am on Saturday thinking that we're all done with Taco Duck for the week. Time to switch gears and get back to work on the space shooter. When Dan shoots me this track meant for the level that we've been working on. Holy hell. Listen to that theremin-esque earworm of a tune. Taco Duck, man, this game's starting to get good.
So I'm quite happy with how it's turned out for the game. I think it suits the mood of the game really well. I think it's quite good. I've got a jumping sound in as well for when you jump. There's a slight problem with that, and I need to have a proper chat with Josh about this at some point. We're gonna have to hit Skype and go over everything and see if we can't come to some sort of solution for this. This is a real problem with having two different coders who work from two different approaches, and we're having to try to kind of come together. And again, what with him starting his project, he actually started this quite a while back and then moved on with other things. And and I'm coming to it. You don't just dive into someone's knickers and have a ferret around and just go, oh yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine, I know what I'm doing. We then need to work out how that's going to mesh with what he's done. But yeah, this is good. This is all part of the learning process. So yeah, it's been a really good week. We've got some real good progress going on. Duck Game is really coming together, or Super Taco Duck, or whatever we're calling it. It's really starting to come together now. So I'm very, very happy with this, and I believe Josh is quite happy with the progress we're making too. So that's good. Next week is going to be an absolute nightmare for me. Long-time viewers will know I do a 4-week rotation on this channel. So I do 3 weeks worth of game development, devlogs, and other videos, which are all just kind of all tied together. And then I take a week out from doing that, and I just focus and do one major, big, long, proper video. The past 2 have been the love letter to the Amiga and the love letter to the Mega Drive, and they're proving really popular. They're like some of my most viewed videos. They're certainly the ones that get the most shared, and they're the ones that people really like me doing. More effort equals more liking. So I've got to try and sort that out over the next week. Unfortunately, I'm away on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I'm going and meeting some of Jem's surrogate family in the run up to our wedding, so I'm going to be completely out the loop for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She's going to make uploading interesting. I've got to try and work out a way around that. And then on Tuesday we've got Rob's coming over with his missus for some general family time, so that means I've got Sunday afternoon to get this edited together and then to make a start on the major video. I've got Monday night, Wednesday night, and a Thursday night at the most. I'm not going to be getting much sleep over this next week. I'm going to have to work my absolute nuts off to get this all done. Josh has said he will he's going to look at doing a video this week as well. So you might have your very first piece of solely Josh made content this week. So that's good. And he's also, I don't know what we're going to do about development, whether he's going to have a look at Astro Blasto or not, or whether he's going to keep working on Duck Game again. We're going to have a discussion about that. I mean, at the time of recording this, it's the middle of the night where he is, so I can't really twist his noggin about that and say, what are you doing, because he'll be like, fucking sleeping. So yeah, so that's everything. I hope you've enjoyed this devlog. It's been a good week, and I will see you next Sunday. Josh will probably see you sooner, and with that, take it easy. I have to stop doing this. I don't know what this is. Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy. I shall see you later. Bye bye now.